Camera rolling.
Roll it.
Okay, Eric, let's continue with this amazing album, your debut solo album.
That's right.
Sawa Sawa. Why Sawa? In fact, let's talk about the song Sawa Sawa.
So,
And why did you call the album Sawa Sawa?
well, one of my favorite verses comes from Isaiah chapter 40. I think it's 28 and 29. Those who depend on the Lord shall soar with wings of eagles, right? They shall walk and not be weary. You know that verse. And so for me, the song kind of was like, at this point in my career, what is it like, maybe 8-9 years in, you know? And so I'd been through a lot, you know, the whole thing with Five Alive, trying to find the record deal, etc., etc. And just telling myself that it was going to be okay, you know? That there's a line in there, one of my favorite lines is, I've stretched my rod as far as I can reach, right? And for me, that is it's an interesting thing that this is something my mom always used to say as well, that we are co-creators with God in everything that we do. You know, however you see God, the universe, right? That we are co-creators. We are, and one of the best examples is like Moses and the Red Sea, right? I mean, he didn't part the waters, right? He didn't,
But
right?
he played his part.
But he was told, stretch your rod, right? You know, and so for me, it's like, we've got to play our part, you know? It's not, you don't only depend on God to provide all the things. You've got to do your part, you know?
It's like God will never give you a chair, he'll give you wood.
There you go, you know? Yeah, and then you've got to nail it all together, you know? So that for me was like, yeah, this is my mantra. Everything's gonna be all right. I just keep on doing my thing. Itakuwa sawa sawa, you know? And so I guess some of the inspiration for that song, even sort of chord-wise, I was listening to Wainaina had just put out a record, and there was like a song, all right, all right, all right, all right, all right, all right. I was like, okay, that's cool, you know, because you're learning. You're one of the best ways to learn stuff is to mimic something, you know, is to, hey, what are those chords, you know, how can I use that? And so that's where Sawa Sawa came from. And it's weird that then that I guess I was so influenced that Sawa Sawa and all right, you know, the song, you know.
Yes. Just play Sawa Sawa to feel the.
I wake up early in the morning and hear the birds call out my name. I look heavenward and hear your voice say, you're alright, you're okay. I'm alright, I'm okay. Sawa, 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 sawa. Another day and another hour. A bower, bower, my bower. I'm growing wings to fly like eagles. Higher, 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 higher. I'm reaching for the stars and further. Sawa, 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 sawa. Sawa, sawa. Every day in my dreams, I'm rising, it seems. There's nothing to hold me. I see the unseen. My faith is my anchor. My hope is my rudder. And nothing can harm me as I cross the seas. Etc.
Let me ask you, did you do voice lessons in Berklee?
No, I didn't. I did a few sort of privately, right? I decided to be a piano principal at Berklee because I felt it was going to improve my songwriting, right? And I don't know, I thought that I could pick up sort of voice things as I went along, right? But I needed that foundation piano-wise.
I get. So have you done voice lessons or you just teasing?
I did 2 or 3, you know? Yeah, but I mean, piano was my instrument at Berklee.
Yo.
You know?
Okay, so you call this album Sawa Sawa, package it, release it. So what I'm hearing, you started releasing it in the States first with MailChimp and all of this.
It wasn't MailChimp.
I mean,
no. This is no.
By post office, PO Box.
PO Box. Exactly.
Yeah,
you know. And so there was also a gig that we used to play. We used to play a gig I think it was every 2 weeks or at a club in Boston. It was called Riles, right? Sort of 150, 200 people venue. Man, Riles had vituko. Remember one time, this promoter babe, who was like the person who used to, make sure the gigs happen. She's there like, Eric, sorry, you can't play today because the roof, because it was a 2-level place. The roof of the upstairs venue that you're gonna play at has caved in. It rained really hard yesterday. It's caved in. And I was like, her name was Ursula. I was like, Ursula, we can't cancel. I mean, Kenyans come all the way from Worcester, which is like a 90-minute drive. We can't cancel. She's like, Eric, I don't know what to tell you. The gig's not gonna happen. I was like, oh man, rain. I was like, yeah. Can I just go see the damage? I go up to the venue. There's a whole other wedding taking place. And like, she had double booked. There was a kanaka. Hang! I was like, Ursula bwana. Are the guys coming from Shags of Boston? Right?
You booked a wedding.
You just tell me the truth, right? And so we actually went up to the bride and groom. Because it was a small party of about 20-30 people. I was like, look, I'm really, really sorry, right? But there's been a double booking of this space. Cindio, you let us play our gig, and then you guys just join the kanini.
And enjoy.
They're like, yay! we played this kabash. Kenyans like this, and this Zoom's couple from Boston having a wonderful time for the wedding party. It was great.
So, so a lot of Kenyans used to come for.
So they would come, but then we started playing the gig. We started playing an annual gig in addition to those at one of the biggest clubs in Boston called the Rack. Right now, the manager of the Rack, she used to ask me, "Who the hell are you to come and book this club?" Right? But we used to book it for there's a Monday, the third Monday in April, which is Patriots Day, is when the Boston Marathon is run, right? And she was like, and we knew that the Kenyans were going to win. Yep. Right? It's scheduled. It's part of the plan, right? And so I show up and they're like, so April was that year happened to be the 16th. I was like, April 16th, I'm gonna have the launch of my record here, and we're gonna fill this place with Kenyans. She's like, really? On a Monday night? I was like, relax, relax, babe. Yeah. 500 guys showed up, and that's just, and we played that gig every single year, right? Because the Kenyans they win, right? And so one time,
actually, when I was clever, you launched album same time.
Oh, exactly. And so one time the Kenyan didn't win, an Ethiopian guy won. Then she calls me up. She's like, are you still gonna play your gig? I was like, but the Kenyan babe won. So what's
it's all good.
It's all good. We've got this thing
sorted
under wraps, right? So we launched the record there in April, and then we were coming to release it here.
What year is
in
this?
September of 2001.
2000. Yeah, you were still in 2001.
Yeah, we're still we've got 18 years to go. Yeah. Stick around. Yeah. So, it was great, and Sheba, at one point we're playing these gigs, and she's there like, you know what? Instead of charging $10, let's charge 12. That extra $2 when there's 500 guys is $1,000. I was like, where Chile? Ukombele. No, it was wonderful times, happy times.
Okay, so you come here, and what's now the reception?
We come here. So Retwari Aku had been playing for a couple of years. Kenya only had been playing, and then I think a year prior, before the album was released, we had played at Beats of the Season in 2000, right? And I was playing pretty much the stuff from the record, right? And it had gone down well, so I was like, okay, this is going to be interesting.
And you've always been a live musician.
That one was backing track, but I had dancers, right? It was just, Richie, where we are right now in the industry, right, is not where we were 17 years ago as far as how many musicians there are. Even I'm talking about players, instrumentalists. 10 years ago, I could go watch a gig and know everyone on stage, right? But nowadays you go, maybe even the vocalist you don't know, right? What are now the percussionist or the drummer, you know? And there's so many players, there's so many, right? And back in the day, like, to find a band who were going to nail the stuff in the 1 week that you were here, that was, you know,
I get what you mean.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because I keep forgetting that you're coming from abroad.
Yeah.
To do your thing, then you're out back.
Exactly. I mean, like right now, the Totsis of the world, Akina Benja, Akina Mavo, these guys nail stuff. Whichever musician you are.
Yeah.
Even Beyonce come.
Exactly.
You know, guys are ready, you know. But that was not where we were back then. And so I had the choreographer at the time, a guy called Brayo. Yani, he, by the way, is the one who even saved Nchi Kitu Kidogo that day of the music festival, right? Because when those guys were saying to get off stage.
Okay, tell us about this. This thing.
So I get called to the music festival, right, to sing at the finalist concert. This is 2001. And as a past winner, they were like, Eric, you know, come and show the guys that this thing can go somewhere. Right? And so they asked me, we had gone up to the sound booth, they're like, what songs are you going to play? I was like, I'm going to sing a song called Sawa Sawa and another song called Nchi Kitu Kidogo. They're like, 120, right? Yes. So we go down, we start, we sing Sawa Sawa, and it goes down. Like it's me and Brayo and some dancers, right? So Nchi Kitu Kidogo starts to play another track. And it has been getting some airplay. Saitochi is sitting there, right? The organizers begin to panic, right? There's a guy on the side of the stage, he's calling me, right? And they're like, hang on, we've started singing the song.
I ain't coming.
I'm not coming at kuja, whatever, you know? Because also, I've seen guys at the music fest as well, when the guest of honor arrives, guys are performing on stage, guest of honor is late. These kids, they have to stop their performance so the guest of honor can come and take their seat, right? It's like someone has pressed pause, right? And then when the guest of honor sits down, unpause and you continue. I'm like, hey, no, I'm going to stop singing a song at you because of what? Right? So I already had that car.
Yes.
Of, you don't stop a guy in the middle of a song.
I'm just in an album,
You know what I'm saying? And so it was that, and it's just unprofessional.
Yeah, it is.
You know? But it turned out he was calling me because they were panicking. They're like, you can't sing this song in Moi's Kenya with the vice president sitting there. Right? And so they say the part of the myth is that they were trying to switch off my microphone. It's not actually true. The mic cable was faulty, so it was just, you know, I was having to whatever. But they did go into the sound booth, right, and ask, where's the music coming from, right? Those guys up there in the sound booth, they're like, we don't know. They came and literally stood against the machines. They're like, "Atiju inatoka wapi?"
What?
You know? So those guys had our back, right? So now on the side of the stage, the guy's getting more sort of
agitated.
Kuja funga, right? And then I hear Brayo behind me. He's there like, dance hard. He's saying to his dancers, dance hard. I was there like, I can't let these guys down, right? But because I was beginning to get quite intimidated, right?
You're like, hey, what am I doing?
And then the audience chikas the chorus, and then they start to sing. It just became a thing, right? I was like, yeah, man, we're seeing this one through to the end, you know? And so then we walked off stage, and then some other, to me, big guys in suits, they're like, right? My bro was like, ni mimi. So they took my bro off to a side somewhere, talked to him a bit, whatever, and then he came and told me, let's get in the car, and we just bounced.
What?
Right? It was that level of whatever. But then, like I'm saying, there's a journalist, Jamhuri Mwa Vyombo, who came and was like, tell me about this song. Now she's interviewing me in Swa, and it's like, First of all, and here you are, you've written a song about corruption where you're calling it Kitu Kidogo. And she's there like, sasa mambo ya rushwa na what was the other word? Ufisadi na rushwa. They're like, I've never heard these words before in my life. And I'm having this interview with Chile from the coast being like, basi tuambie unaonaje rushwa. So
Kaya bombs from Kiman you're going to connect.
kabisa. Anyway, so like I was telling you, that song that got picked up by the next day I was on BBC as like Network Africa called from London, and I was talking to my heroes, Alex Brody. They're like, I've been listening to you in America all this time, and you're interviewing me standing here in Westland. Like, yeah, man, let's rock on. But anyway, that's how that particular situation played out.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
So that album explodes here, and this is now the again. I'm stressing on this first album because it solidified you as a musician and even changed you from the I'll keep using Ondio to this is a music activist who is fighting for us. You get what I mean? It's like what you were saying about Ridiculous. That's what we felt you were doing for us musically. That hadn't been done in. I mean, I'm not saying they were not, but it was. I'm talking about my era. Very relevant. Very okay. We get this thing, and very pop, and also great music. So that, of course, explodes the brand Eric Wainaina. What does that do for you? Or you know, every time I've been talking to you, it's like you're a bit aloof about what was happening to you guys stardom-wise. Do you get? Like when I was talking about Five Alive, I'm like, it was a big deal. It was. You guys were a big deal, and even this Sawa Sawa album, and Eric Wainaina, that was a big deal. Where does the story go from there?
Where does the story go from there? So we put out the record. Then I pretty much went back to school, you know, and I was insulated from a lot of the stuff that was happening because I wasn't here, right?
That's what I fully understood.
You know, and so like, I remember one time someone saying to me, Nchi Kitu vumad like crazy, right? I was like, okay, thanks for telling me.
Let me say this as a musician. There are some songs that, when I was a musician, there's some songs that are released would only get known in Nairobi with a certain demographic of people. Nchi Kitu Kidogo was known across the country to all different demographics. Kids were singing it, all people were singing it. You get? That's when I'm talking about, Nameless calls it a mega hit. Mega hit is just everybody's, Ninanoki for Nameless was a mega hit. But it's not just a mega hit because till today, the song is played. Till today. So it's like a timeless song. That's when I'm talking about what that song did. That's why I'm spending and dwelling so much on the explosion of that album.
Yeah. I mean,
guys even who didn't know Swahili, I mean Kikuyu, sing Ritoa. See, I'm a Kikuyu and I can't even say it.
Ritoa yaku. It's Sawa Sawa. I mean, it's been life-changing for me as a record, you know. One of the songs on it, Daima, right, just continues to do interesting things like on Skiza and stuff, you know. Yes.
You can tell us what has he done on Skiza? I know it was voted the most downloaded Skiza tune.
Thank you.
Not voted, by the way, this is not even about voting. This is just collection and saying the number one Skiza tune of the thingy was that.
Well, I mean, thankfully, you know, once again, you never know what's going to happen with a jam. You write a jam from a standpoint of honesty, and it takes on a life of its own, you know. But for example, 10 years ago, our complaint was distribution, right? But digital has come to really change that space, right? And I mean, for me, like, there's always complaints about, or there's a discussion about the sort of the percentage split, right, with ourselves and the aggregators and Safaricom, right? For me, it's a really big deal that I put out a song and there's 40 million potential subscribers, right? People who, and there's no gig that I can play that will have 40 million people there, right? So Safaricom has provided us with this platform this entire market, right? We can argue, we can discuss, hey, maybe there could be some more, there could be percentage points more in our favor, yes, but there's other, it's not only Safaricom, there's the government, there's VAT and excise, right? So 16 and 10%, right? This is a conversation that we could also have with the government and be there like, hey, maybe that excise tax,
you need to,
right? How about you waive that and put that into some kind of music education program, right? Because there's a lot of money. That 10% is a lot
makes
of
18 million shillings a day on Skiza tunes. We're talking about.
Are you talking about Safaricom or Safaricom and
no,
partners? Because there's also Huawei and.
I'm talking about 18 million shillings a day. Let's say 18 million people have a Skiza tune.
That's fantastic.
That's 18 million shillings a day.
If you take 10% of that, that's 1.8 meter, right? In a month, that is 54
meter.
That's a lot of money.
Yep.
And just that alone, right, could be put into some music education programs. Do you know, Richie, I started doing my master's at KU, right? I was meeting students who were coming to do their undergrad who had never seen a piano before, who had never touched a piano. You're coming to do your undergraduate and you've never touched a piano before. That is like, Basi, then you're now entering, now that's grade 1.
You can't, how are you competing?
You can't compete. But so the thing is this, if the government is like, okay, look, 54 million shillings per month.
Let's put pianos in schools.
Let's put pianos everywhere. Let's put guitars everywhere. Let's also advance like all this Nyatiti or Rutu, whatever. Can they be improved?
Exactly.
Right? I know a guy, so you know Nyatiti has, it's tuned, it's pretty much, you tighten the string pretty much by the strength of your arm, right? You put like a cloth there and you just, you know what I'm saying? I know a guy, I call Rapasa, who's put guitar pegs on a Nyatiti. See, that's already an innovation because how much more exact your tuning can be, right? It also means that Nyatitis, which are tuned kind of pentatonic, now with pegs you can get so many more notes.
Nice.
Right? And so that's an innovation for the Nyatiti, right? But look at 54 million shillings a year, a month. We're talking about even making stuff, turning that Nyatiti into even an electrical instrument.
We're talking about even creating a sound from within Kenya that can now go out.
If you look at the best sort of producers in the world, right? Out of the top 10 producers, I'm going to say 30% of them are Swedish. Akina Max Martin, all those guys who write for Beyonce, Rihanna, all that, right? Why? Because Sweden has that sort of free education program. It predates ABBA.
Yes.
You know? And so it's in like, come on. You want to talk about good allocation of tunes? Yeah? Me, I have no problem with that.
With the percentage you're getting?
I have no problem at all.
First and foremost, you've been given a market of 30 million people plus.
Yeah.
Secondly, there's a revenue potential that you'd have not gotten.
Yeah. You know? I mean, when you're talking about that kind of stuff, it's so yeah, we've talked about the advancement that we can make as an industry, right? But it's also, you're making money which you deserve, right? But from a catalog which is in some cases, like with Sawa Sawa, it's 17, 18 years old.
That's insane.
You know? And that's how it should be, you know? And I mean, it makes the music business serious. It makes it serious. It's not a hobby, you know?
Yes, it's a business.
It means that you can buy a house, right? Which you are currently doing, you know? It means you can put your kids through school. It means you can participate in the extended family's needs, you know? It means that you can envision a university education for your children, you know? All these things that people fear that if you become a musician, you will not eat, right? This,
for the record, I want to ask you, music is what has fed you. Music is what takes...
Music has fed me, clothed me.
You've not randomly become an accountant on the side?
No, I haven't. Everything. So I have diversified sort of my music output.
Exactly. And we'll enter the theater inside like that.
Yeah. But it's all music.
Within music now you're able to grow. I mean, dude, you said music paid your fees.
Yeah.
Do you get what I mean? The
Yeah.
CDs and your upkeep when you were
Oh yeah.
abroad.
Man, I flogged those CDs like mad. Became pretty much like a member at the post office. They're like, oh, Eric,
How you doing?
good to see you again. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's continue with this story, because I mean your journey. We're on album number 1, guys. I mean, okay, let's say album number 2 if you include the 5 Alive album. Next thing is when I as well come back into the country, and one day I'm at Kijiji and the great Eric Wainaina walks in. And now this is the first time I'm meeting you face to face, and you were recording a song with Kanji called Mabawa at the time.
Oh yeah.
I was like, I'm in the presence of greatness, people. Just like seated there, I was like, oh my
Wow.
God, I can't
Yeah,
believe I haven't been allowed to be here. Just to show you what your first album had done for you. Now let's talk about 2020, because that was the second album. Yeah.
That was the second album.
Yeah.